I want you to feel like you're not working hard enough around me. I want you to feel like your character isn't strong around me. I want to have standards that are so high that I make everyone else uncomfortable not to operate at those standards. How many of you guys want to improve the quality of your leadership? There are 3 ways to improve your leadership. And then I'm going to actually give you 7 bullet points of things that will help you become a better leader. 3 things that you can do. Number 1 is you can study those in leadership. You study those in leadership. How do they act? How do they talk? How do they walk? How is their example? How do they interact with people? How do they pour belief? How do they inspire action? I was speaking to somebody the other day and they were like, Matt, I think I'm pretty good in leadership. My entire team feels like a family. I said, well, see, your entire team is like a family that doesn't get anything done. So it's got to feel like a family, but it still needs to be ran like a business, meaning results matter. It could feel good all you want, but if something feels good and nothing gets done, is that a good sign of leadership? No. It just means that you are good at creating family, but nothing got done. If all of a sudden there was a manager of a construction company and the owner shows up and the owner's like, where's the house? He's like, I know we don't have a house yet, but all the workers are unified. What is the owner of that company thinking? I don't care. Where's the house? I'm paying all these. You guys with me on this? So yes, it's important to have unity. Yes, it's important to feel like a family. But if it feels like a family, but nothing gets done, then that's a problem. That's an issue. Start paying attention to those who have some of the biggest teams and figure out, how do these people inspire action? Start studying those in leadership. What do they do? How do they transfer pressure? How do they transfer pressure? I'm going to give you an idea on that today. Number 2, how do you improve in leadership? By leading, making mistakes, and then learning from those mistakes. I think some of us are like, I got to know leadership before I lead, not realizing that the only way to get good at leadership is by first making a mistake. Like, don't get me wrong. A smart man learns from their own mistakes. A wise man learns from other people's. I want you to operate in wisdom and study those in leadership and try to learn from them. That's primary. But you also got to realize that you're going to make mistakes along the way. And it's your ability to come back from those mistakes and learn that's going to define the quality of leader that you become. Because if you keep consistently making the same mistake over and over again, then that's an issue. That means you're not learning from it. And that's why your team's not growing. I believe that you will continue to build teams and lose teams and build teams and lose teams until you learn all the mistakes of leadership. Because this is what happens. You start to build a team, you make a mistake, you lose your team. And if you're wise, you learn from that. And now you start to build a team. You don't make the mistake you made again, but you make a different mistake. And then you lose your team. And so there's going to come a point in your career where you've made not all the mistakes, but you've made so many mistakes that you kind of have a compass of, I shouldn't do this, I should do this. And then it becomes easier for your team to grow and scale. But what most people do is most people quit the first time after a team quits. They quit the second time after their team quits. You are going to continue to build and rebuild teams until you learn the majority of mistakes in leadership. Because the reason they quit is not because of them, no matter how much you try to point your finger. The reason they quit is because of something you did and or didn't do. Well, I didn't do anything. That's the problem. You didn't do anything. And that's why they left you. Make sense? And then number 3, leadership you don't want. I would like to think that we have a pretty incredible organization, but there are going to be times where you have someone that makes a leadership mistake with you. Instead of looking at them as the enemy, if I were you, I would look to them with gratitude. Because we will never do to our people what was done to us typically. Make sense? One of the reasons I feel like a lot of my leadership is actually, there was things I didn't like where I originally was. And it allowed me to say, I will not handle situations that way. I will not do this. I will not do that. It's what shaped me. So if you're on this call right now and maybe there's some level of friction with your leadership, This is what I want to challenge you to do. Have an honest conversation with them and work towards a solution. You're not always going to agree with leadership, and leadership's not always going to agree with you. But one of the reasons our country is divided is because people can't seem to disagree and still love and respect each other at the end. So what if we can shift that inside of our own culture and say, you know what? I'm not always going to agree, but I care about them. They care about me. And even though we might have our differences, and even though there might be friction every now and then, I respect them. They respect me. And as long as there's a whole bunch of respect in the mix, we can grow past this and we can get better. But I think one of the best ways to learn leadership is to have had leadership that you don't necessarily agree with. And you look at mistakes and say, I'm not doing that when I have my team. I'm not doing that when I have my business. Some of those might come from this business. Maybe it came from another business that you were a part of. Maybe you were in a construction company and you saw the way that the foreman treated people. Maybe you worked at Jamba Juice and you didn't agree with leadership. Maybe you worked at an engineering place. Makes sense? And you learn leadership from mistakes, not necessarily based off what went well. Those are typically the three ways to learn leadership. Some of them we would rather have than others, right? Like studying. But at the end of the day, they all serve you. And it's your ability to be a student leader at all times that's going to determine how fast you grow as a leader. We all heard of student drivers, correct? And a student driver is typically not the greatest driver. And then all of a sudden we put them in a vehicle, and if they just continue to operate at that level, they're never going to be a phenomenal driver. They're just going to continue to be that student driver. I want you to understand that in leadership, you are always in student leadership. There's not a day that goes on that you're not improving your leadership skills, because leadership is not learned in a day, it's learned daily. There are mistakes that I'm going to make in leadership today. I already know it. And it's my ability to grow through it, improve, and continue to strive to get better every day that's going to allow us to continue to increase the size of our team. But the moment you think you've arrived in leadership thinking you know everything that you need to know, like, you know what, I got this thing down, is the moment your business is going to crumble. The moment you think you're a humble person is when you lost all humility. The moment you operate, I'm humble, is the moment you lost humility. So the moment you think I'm a great leader is the moment you lose your leadership. So let's talk about some things that can help you improve your leadership. I always start with this one because it's most important. When somebody says, what is the most important quality in a leader? Character and integrity. It's number one. Character and integrity. So important. I think some of us, we're so focused on improving our skill set. If I just was more skilled, people would follow me. Will that help you? Absolutely. But maybe we need to become a better person. Maybe we need to improve our integrity. Maybe we got to be the same person in business as we are outside of business. People ask the question a lot, Matt, if you were to start all over, what would you do different? And my response is always very simple. I would have worked on my character as much as my skill set. Because your skill set will determine how much you make, but your character will determine whether or not you can keep it. Your ambition, your hard work, your drive, your commitment, your dedication, your intensity, your focus, your skill will determine how big of a team you can build. But your character will determine whether or not you can keep that team. Most mistakes in leadership are character flaws. Whether they're operating in pride, ego, greed, selfishness. If you look at all leadership mistakes, they all stem from those things. Pride, ego, greed, selfishness, they all stem from those things. That's where leadership mistakes stem from. Well, all of those things is the opposite of strength of character. All of those things is the opposite of integrity. So when integrity is strong and character is strong, that means that we're not operating in pride. We're not operating in ego. We're not operating in greed. We're not operating in selfishness. In fact, the opposite of leadership is selfishness, and the opposite of selfishness is leadership. Meaning you cannot be a leader and selfish at the same time. Because leadership is not about you, it's about your people. And the moment you make it about you is the moment you lose leadership. Are we catching this right now? So does that mean you don't control your personal? No, you got to go do what you need to do in order to win. But it can't be about you as you win. And so if we want to build an incredible organization, what it's going to come down to is the foundation. And that all stems from your integrity. That all stems from your character. No matter how beautiful you think your building is, No matter how beautiful it is on the inside, you can paint the walls, you can buy the nice furniture, you can make the most beautiful building from the exterior as you want. You can make it look as if the interior is perfect. But if there's a crack in the foundation, it will collapse. And so what's my point? My point is you can paint this picture that you got it all going on. You can paint this picture that you're this person on the outside, you're this person on the inside, you got this type of home. You can paint the picture all you want. But if you are not it, those character flaws will show through. The crack in the foundation will eventually reveal itself. What you build will eventually collapse, which is why becoming is more important than attaining. Yet most people focus on attaining before they start to become. Number 2, help and support properly. You want to be a better leader, you have to help and support properly. In the very beginning, we do things for people. We got to do things for people in the very beginning to show them that this works. There's levels to the help and support you provide, and I want to give you an idea of what those levels look like. So in the beginning, you help and support people by doing things for them and getting them results. So if I'm working with Steven, I need to get Steven results. I'm going to do things for Steven, get him results, so that way he can see this works. Make sense? Level 2, after he starts like, okay, this works. After he sees it work, I need to help him start to do it on his own. So level 1 is you do it for him. Level 2 is you help them start to be able to do it on their own. This is the difference between field training and field selling. If I field train you and I take you on 10 appointments and after the 10 appointments, you can't give the presentation, then what was I doing on all those 10 appointments? So the first 3 or 4, you do it for them. But at the end, you role play with them. So all of a sudden I take Steven out on 10 field training or 3 field training appointments. I'm going to spend 15 minutes afterwards role playing with Steven so that way he can start to learn how to do it on his own. Now we go into the 4th presentation. I say, Mr. and Mrs. Client, because this is for Steven's training, do you mind if I have him go over non-captive and what that means? And if there are any corrections that need to be made, I'll step in. Would that be okay? Because this is, yeah. And then all of a sudden, Steven does it for himself. I'm helping Steven do it all on his own. When all of a sudden, Steven calls me and says, hey, Matt, how does this product work? Instead of me saying, Steven, this is how the product works. I say, Steven, we have gfitraining.com. And some of you guys might be thinking, Matt, isn't the simple answer just to give him the answer? What happens when you feed a dog once? What happens when you give someone a fish? I got to teach Steven to be resourceful. Does this make sense? So you start to help them do it on their own. All right, Steven, you're going to do this part of the presentation. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. You're going to do this. And I'm going to help Steven do it on his own. So level 1 is you do it for them to show them that it works. Level 2 is you help them do it on their own so that way they can start to build confidence. I don't say go do it on your own. There's a difference. I said help them do it on their own, because if you send them to go do it on their own and they aren't properly equipped, they will fail, they will make a mistake, and now they will doubt whether or not they can succeed. Are you catching this right now? So I'm going to help him generate the result. He starts to build self-confidence. The 3rd level is be there for people, but don't do things for people. So level 1 is you do it for them to show them that it works. Level 2 is you help them do it on their own so that way they can build confidence. Level 3 is you be there for them, but you don't do it for them. I think sometimes people come to me and they're like, Matt, you're unresponsive. It's not that I'm unresponsive. I'm just choosing not to respond. Because the moment I do something for you is the moment I cripple you in leadership. Me not responding is a response. Make sense? Me not responding is a response. So you're thinking like, well, why don't you just tell me? You want me to go fish for you? Or would you rather me help you learn to fish all on your own? Make sense? Some of us, the reason we're not developing leaders is because we do everything for them. And you think, I'm an incredible leader. No, you're an incredible servant. Well, Matt, isn't leadership servant leadership? Absolutely. But not if it hinders the growth of your people, because the act of leadership is not developing followers. The act of leadership is developing more leaders. So the moment you're not developing people is the moment you failed in leadership. Number 3, when people are down, encourage them. And when people are up, challenge them. Let me say it again. When people are down, encourage them. And when people are up, challenge them. Can I tell you what most people do? When people are up, they praise to the point that their head gets so big that they stop doing the work that generated the result in the first place. And then when people are down, they challenge. Come on, you can do it. Like, what's wrong with you? Then, and they kick them while they're down. Let me ask you a question. If I kick you while you're down, is it going to make it easier or harder to get up? It's going to make it harder. So when people are down, you extend a hand and say, brother, sister, let me help you get through this hard time. I got you. I won't let you fail. I'm going to be there for you through thick and thin. I got your back. I'm your brother. I'm here to support you. You're going to get through this. It's going to be okay. You got everything in you to be able to accomplish what you want to accomplish. A setback's a good time for a comeback, and you encourage them when they're down. But when they start to win, you say, hey, I'm proud of you. But did you see that this person just got their $100,000 ring? Ooh. Make sense? And you start to challenge them. And then you taproot the challenge. I said you got to taproot the challenge. This is what most people do. Hey, Joey, can I challenge you? Yeah, I want to challenge you to get your third diamond. He goes, all right, deal. And then they walk away. That's what most people do. Hey, Joey, I want to challenge you. Okay, I challenge you to get your third diamond. Okay, yay. And they walk away. Is that taprooted? Absolutely not. So I'm going to say, hey, listen, Joey. Yeah, I want to challenge you. If I challenge you, are you actually going to take it? For sure. Like no BS? All right, well, Joey, this is what I want to challenge you to do. I want to challenge you to get your third diamond within the next 30 days. He said, all right, Joey, third diamond, next 30 days. I know for a fact you can do it. It's going to require more than you've ever done, but I know for a fact you can do it. Do I have your commitment that you're going to get that done? Yeah, Joey, are you the type of person that says you're going to do something and doesn't? Or are you a person of integrity that always follows through on your word? So I'm challenging you and you're giving me your commitment that you're going to get that done. I can take that to the bank. All right. See the difference in that challenge versus can I challenge you? Yeah, here's the challenge and I walk away. One gets forgotten. One I just sunk into his soul. Late at night when he's laying there, do you know what he's thinking about? The fact that I challenged him. So just remember this. When people are down, encourage them. And when people are up, challenge them. This is how you apply pressure. And then all of a sudden, 14 days in, this is how you apply pressure. You ready? Hey, Joey, how's that third diamond coming? Right, you said you're going to get it done. Are you going to get it done? All right. I still have your word on that? No matter what? Okay, perfect. By the way, Joey, I told this person, and this person that you're going to get it done. You did? Yep. I just applied even more pressure. Joey, I told Eric you were going to get it done. I told Greg Cap you were going to get it done. I told Marty Schaefer you were going to get it done. So they're all watching your numbers right now saying that you're going to get it done. You're going to get it done? All right now. Number 4, control your personal. Some of you guys are on this call. You're like, I want to be a leader. Well, let's start by leading yourself. I want to build a great team. You're not going to build a great team unless you decide to go be great as an example. You got to be the example. There's 2 levels of leadership. Level 1 is you have what I want and I like you. Level 2 is you have a reputation for helping other people get what they want. You ready? And I respect you. Like and respect are 2 different things. So level 1 of leadership is you have what I want. You have the personal production I want. You have the directs I want. You have the cash flow that I want. And I like you. You're a good person. Can you teach me how to get those results? I want you to teach me. Now, guess what? You just increase your influence. Make sense? Level 2 is you have a reputation for helping other people get what they want, and I respect you. Respect your integrity, your character, your marriage, the relationship with your children, what you stand for. It goes back to the character thing we were talking about earlier. So Matt, how do you know when you've grown from level 1 to level 2? I can't tell you from a character perspective, but from a results perspective, it's typically around 10 direct 6-figure earners. When you have 10 direct 6-figure earners that you trained and developed, you start to build this reputation that anyone that works with you wins. So what does that mean? That means until you get to that point, you should not let off your personal even a little bit. Because then there's no reason to follow you if you can't teach me how to get the results that I'm trying to get. Because if I like you, like if you're my upline and I like you, but you don't have the results that I want, then you're my friend. I don't look to you for leadership. And some of us are trying to push leadership onto our people, but they're like, bro, like, I like you, but please stop trying to push this leadership thing onto me because you don't have any of the results that I want. Does this make sense? And it's not a mean thing. It's like, hey, I like you. Like, I want to go hang out by a bonfire with you. I want to hang out with you. But you don't have the results that I want. You're telling me I got to increase my direct recruiting, but I haven't seen a direct from you. You're telling me that I got to become a closer, but I haven't seen you close anything. You're telling me I got to control my personal production, but you don't got personal anything. So I like you. I want to hang out with you. I want to go to dinner with you. I want to go watch a movie with you. But you're not going to be able to influence me to get a result. Make sense? Number 5, people need to have confidence in you. If you want to be a leader, people need to have confidence in you. Matt, what do you mean by that? You need to be certain. If you want to be someone's leader, you need to be the most certain thing in their life. People already have enough uncertainty in their home. They have enough uncertainty in the economy. They have uncertainty at their job. They already have enough uncertainty. What they need is certainty. How certain are you in your behavior, in your routine, in the hours that you're working? How certain are you in your emotional state? That is so important. If you are emotionally unstable, you are never going to be looked to for leadership. How you deal with problems. Because some of you guys are, well, I'm positive like 90% of the time. But that 10% is when a problem occurs, you, boom, lose emotional control. That's an issue. I want you to write this down. Calm is contagious. Calm is contagious. I want you to write this down. Equanimity. The ability to stay calm under pressure. If someone freaks out, those who actually operate with leadership qualities will stop looking to you for leadership if they're on your team. So some of you have people that are more emotionally secure, and then you freak out, they watch you freak out, and then you wonder why they don't listen to you anymore. You have the results that they want, but you lack the emotional strength. Make sense? This is so important. So people need to have confidence in you. You need to be the most certain thing in their life. You have to have emotional intelligence. You have to be calm under pressure, calm under duress. They need to have confidence in you that you will be here long term. Some of you want your people to commit, but you haven't committed yet. Some of you want your people to go all in, but you haven't gone all in yet. So you're sitting here like, why won't my people go all in? Why aren't my people dialed? And then they're looking at you. They don't see you all in, and then you're wondering why they're not all in. They're like, if you're not even all in, why would I go all in on something that you haven't even got all in on yet? Does this make sense? Okay? This is so important. And then confidence in your ability. Do they have confidence in your ability to get a result? Confidence in your ability to have success? Confidence in your ability to win? Confidence in your ability? Make sense? So let me just rephrase the whole confidence. They got to have confidence in you. You got to be the most certain person. You got to have confidence in your emotional state and your ability to control your emotions. They got to have confidence that you're going to be here long term, that you're not going to, just be a fly in the wind that just gets blown away. Like you are here for the long term. There's nothing that can get you out of this business. And then also your ability. Number 6, star leadership. Star leadership. That means that you need to understand who you are leading at any given time. And just because you get led one way doesn't mean other people get led that way. You got to look at people's learning style and see what gives them confidence in their ability to execute. What is STAR? S stands for structured, T stands for technical, A stands for action, R stands for relational. So when you are sitting with a structured person, if you want them to take action, they need to have an organized path. And if they don't see an organized path of this is how I go from where I am to where I want to be, a structured person will not take action without clearly defined steps. A technical person will not take action without knowing all the details. So you're sitting down with somebody, you're like, can you just stop asking questions? And you're getting annoyed with them when that could be one of your best people. They're just technical and they want to know the details. There's nothing wrong with wanting to know the details. That's the way their mind works. So as a leader, you got to realize, all right, I'm working with somebody who's structured. I got to give them a clear step-by-step systemized path. Oh, I'm working with somebody who's technical. I got to get them all the details. Oh, I'm working with somebody who's action-oriented. I got to make sure that I teach them exactly how to do it because I already know they're going to go take action, blow up their entire market, and then they're going to think this doesn't work. When in reality it works, they just took action in a way that doesn't generate results. Make sense? Action people just get fired up and excited and they just go and then they do all the wrong things, they say all the wrong things, they blow up the situation that they're in. So you got to make sure that they know what to do. R stands for relational, meaning that people need to know, an R wants to know, am I helping someone? Yeah, the money is great, but if I don't feel good about what I'm doing, and if I don't think that I'm actually making a difference in someone's life, I don't want to do that. Make sense? So you got to understand, all right, who am I sitting down with? Are they structured? Are they technical? Are they action? Are they relational? And instead of getting annoyed because they don't operate the way that you operate, improve the quality of your leadership by understanding this is the way that they operate. And if I want them to take action, I got to understand who I'm dealing with and then give them the resources based off who they are that gives them the confidence to go take action. And then last but not least, number 7, you are the thermostat. So some of you guys are like, how come none of my agents operate with urgency? You're the thermostat. How come none of my agents are fired up and excited? You're the thermostat. How come my agents don't log on with their Zoom camera on? You're the thermostat. How come my agents are not dialed in, laser focused? You're the thermostat. How come my agents are not obsessed? You're the thermostat. How come my agents aren't getting direct recruits? You're the thermostat. Well, what's the difference? A thermostat sets the temperature. A thermometer takes the temperature. Most of us are operating like a thermometer, meaning we're taking the temperature of the room versus being a thermostat where we set the temperature in the room. We got to be a thermostat. We set the temperature of the room with our intensity, with our urgency, with our focus, with our clarity, with our obsession, with our ability to get results, with our directs, our personal production, the way we show up, the amount of hours that we're working, our certainty, our emotional intelligence. We got to be the thermostat. Are you setting the temperature in the room? Or are you walking in and adjusting your temperature to everyone else? Oh, everyone else is operating in an average way. Let me just take the temperature and I'll operate the way that they're operating. Are you kidding me? I want you to be uncomfortable around me. I want you to feel like you got to step up your standards around me. I want you to feel like you're not working hard enough around me. I want you to feel like your character isn't strong around me. I want you to feel those. I'm the thermostat. I want that. Make sense? It's not a bad thing. I want to have standards that are so high that I make everyone else uncomfortable not to operate at those standards. Thermostat. Set the temperature. Some of you guys were like, well, everyone else in the base shop just does it. I don't care what everyone else in the base shop does. Be the example. Well, I don't care what everyone does. If everyone jumps off a cliff, you jumping off? No? Then why does what everyone else does matter? Nobody else is doing 25,000 personal points in my base shop, so go do 25,000 personal points. Nobody else is doing 5 directs, so why are you looking at everyone else? It's not like they're on track to your dreams. Be the thermostat. Stop operating like a thermometer. Everyone else gets 0 directs, I'm going to get 0 directs. Everyone else doesn't produce, I'm not going to produce. Everyone else says negative comments, I'll throw in a negative comment here and there. Set the temperature. Be the standard. If there is no standard, then set one. Be the example in the way that you operate, in the way that you execute, in the way that you're on it. It's okay to make people uncomfortable because of your operating system. Not because you intentionally make them uncomfortable, but because of the way that you operate should make them uncomfortable. Does that make sense? I'm not in a conversation with Gerald trying to make him feel uncomfortable about who he is as a human being. That's not my goal. My goal is to just be operating at such a high standard that Gerald naturally gets uncomfortable by the standard that I'm holding. Make sense? It's like walking into a gym with somebody who's in way better shape than you. All of a sudden you see Sean Young do like 87 pull-up burpee thingies. I don't even know what it's called. And he's like, your turn. And I'm like, for what? That's how you got to be in business. Hey, today was a great day. Let's go become better leaders and let's go change the world. 2025 is your year. I want you to know that. 2025 is your year. Claim it. Claim it. Claim it. You've paid your dues. It's time to collect. You've paid your dues. It's time to collect. Go claim the success that is rightfully yours.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.